All right. Last thing I want to get to is Golden State. I texted you on Wednesday that I want to talk about the problems Golden State's having. And then, of course, they turn around and beat San Antonio in San Antonio off a back-to-back. Steph Curry's got 46 in that game, gets to the free throw line 16 times. He was awesome that night. Their shooters showed up. But the night before, they go into Oklahoma City in what was kind of one of those, like, let's see where we are type of test. And they get the doors blown off them. They get out-rebounded. They get outshot. They just get out-hustled. And some of the comments I heard coming out of that game, Evan, were alarming. You know, Steve Kerr talking about the way that they're playing and that they're not crashing the way that they used to, which tells me that the effort isn't really there. Draymond Green suggesting that maybe some individual agendas were overtaking the overall team agenda of the team. Look, they're older at very key positions, especially with Draymond. They're smaller at key positions, especially at center. I mean, when Al Horford's out, you really don't have, Draymond can only play a certain amount of minutes at center.
That's it.
Yeah, Trace Jackson Davis can only give you a certain amount of minutes there. Against bigger teams, they're going to be in some trouble, and everybody in the Western Conference at the top is pretty damn big. So, great bounce back win on Wednesday against San Antonio. They badly needed that. But right now, they're a team hovering around 500. Did you expect them to be better? Do you see real causes for concern? What do you see when you watch the Warriors?
When I watch the Warriors, sometimes I'm always so shocked when I'm like, dang, I tell people every year they got a chance to win because I believe in Steph so much. So I look at the team, I'm like, bro, I can't believe, I'm not shocked they're not winning because it's not made up of a good team currently. They don't have any room for error due to their age and, they're so top heavy with, unique situations where, Draymond has to play a certain amount of minutes and you might be at a disadvantage in that sense. Or, if you want to play Buddy Hield, now you might be small with, Steph Curry on the court. Or every now and then, in order to get some type of energy going, you got to get Pozinski, who's still developing around Kuminga. I think this team is dangerous in spurts. Like you said, when you have players like Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, you don't want to see them for a week straight. You know what I mean? Especially when you have nights where Steph Curry can give you game 7 Sacramento 50 points, or even when he just went to San Antonio. I know we've been on the Nuggets and OKC's top right now, but San Antonio has been playing at a high level too, and they're really, really good besides Wemby. They have Vassell. They have a lot of good players. 1 through 8 or 9 is pretty good. So I think I wouldn't have them finishing in the top 4, but I believe they'll always be in position to try to win if they get the right type of matchup. You see, they got sent home early last year, and I just think matchup is everything for them, and they have to hit the right type of spurt. And the right type of spurt is getting Steph Curry healthy and getting everybody on that same accord and seeing if everybody's going to hit shots that same day. It's kind of like lightning in a pan right now, but you can bet on it a little bit more than any other thing, but it's not.
It's a little surprising given how they finished last year. They were 23-8 to close out the regular season. They beat Houston, which was the number 2 seed in the second round. They probably would have beaten Minnesota if Steph doesn't get injured in the conference semifinals. So it felt like they were coming back with some momentum. I thought Horford was a brilliant signing. You get Horford, he can still give you 20, 25 minutes per game at a championship level in the middle. I thought it was actually an upgrade over Kevon Looney, who really, second half of last season, didn't play a ton of minutes. But it just hasn't looked the same. And my big takeaway from watching the Warriors play is that the margin for error when Steph didn't play well was always pretty small. It feels like the margin for error when he doesn't play well now is non-existent. They need him. Maybe he doesn't have to give you 46, but he's got to be 30 plus every night, and he's got to be shooting at a pretty high level. He had the 46 against San Antonio, but kind of lost in that was he still isn't making 3-pointers. He was 5 for 16 from 3-point range in that game, and that's not something they can survive on a regular basis. So I still think Draymond can turn it up, in spurts defensively. I still think Jimmy Butler, it's the closer we get to the playoffs, that's when Jimmy Butler's energy just goes up a little bit more, plays a little bit better. He's always going to be dangerous in the postseason. But I don't like what I've seen out of Jonathan Kuminga overall. I don't like what I've seen out of Brandon Podziemski. The middle is shaky, is very shaky
Yeah.
right now with the rotation that
You
they've
got
got there.
Spencer. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
Spencer really shooting ball. Like, you know what I mean? You look and you're like, God, like back in the day, like Iguodala was barely shooting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your top 8 was firepower. And when you talk about trying to put up 30 a night, you would believe it more if the chemistry to understand how to get Steph open was at as high level as possible. You know what I mean? Even in 2022, you remember the play in the corner when Gary Payton Jr. had a jumper and he passed it no look to Steph. It's like people understood on one accord why we're going. And I think one thing that occurs, or what they might be alluding to in the media, is just like, hey, we're all on our own agenda, and we're all being absolutely crazy on who we need to get the ball to, because let's get with the program. That's how it's always been. And I believe right now that ambition and sometimes that lack of communication is ruining chemistry of what made a firepower offense or allowed them to play with less air, because it was like, yo, this is Warriors basketball. We spoke on a culture. Now the culture is just like getting over there, and we're not worried about championships. We're worried about a young kid getting $24 million a year like they offered them for the past 3 years, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still see them as being a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs, but I also see them being a team that once again is going to have to get through the play-in to get into the playoffs. Like, yeah. I think they're going to be in that mix. Right now, they're sitting at 9, 7, and 6 to start the season. Look, I think Portland's going to wind up falling off. Phoenix is going to wind up falling off, but I was going to say Memphis might bounce back, but probably not. The Clippers, I think they'll play better as the season goes on. So I think they're going to be hovering in that 7-8 range at the end of the season. And, anything can happen in those one-game playoffs. Right. Like they might need to claw their way in through the play-in to get there. So it could be a similar type of outcome to last season.
Yeah, I think the energy is just like the little engine that could kind of, like, you'll be hoping for like a underdog type of situation more so than being like, yo, this is a guaranteed dominance. Because, I mean, like you said, the real problems is you're basically, if your 40-year-old goes out, you're basically 6'6" in the post with just peace. And you see what Houston's doing. Steven Adams will get 48 rebounds.
They're huge. Yeah. I mean, but it's not just the Rockets out there. I mean, Jokic in Denver, the Twin Towers in Oklahoma City, the Clippers, with Zubac, they play big. Minnesota plays big. Everybody at the top of the Western Conference is playing big.
Not even top. Like Utah's big as shit. Like there's people that are like huge. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you're no longer spring chicken.
No, it's going to take a superhuman type of season from Steph Curry to keep them in that top half of the play-in mix, keep them in the playoff mix all year long. All right, E.T., I will leave it up to you to reach out to Reggie Bullock to ask him.
Get us there. Yeah, let me figure it out.
Get us to Belize. Tell him we'll do a live podcast from his basketball court. We just need some couple of villas and we'll get to go.
Yeah, let me see if they got any comps or anything. All right.
Appreciate it, Evan.
All right, bro. See ya.